6:50, your top headlines in our Smart Star for Monday. Today, a former Rochester City employee, Anthony Hall, is going to be sentenced as well as arraigned in a different case. The sentencing is for stealing more than $1,000 from a nonprofit. That is not the end of his legal troubles, though. Ron Spitzer joins us live outside the Hall of Justice this morning. Ron.
Yeah, Brennan, 38-year-old Anthony Hall is set to be sentenced to between 1.5 to 3 years behind bars. Now, that is part of a plea deal. Back in November, Hall pleaded guilty to using a debit card which belonged to the Coalition of Northeast Associations, using it to transfer money to his personal Cash App account. That was between December of 2018 and September of 2019 when he volunteered for the organization. Hall was a well-known community leader and, as the director of Pathways to Peace, was frequently called upon to act as a bridge between police officers and neighbors. Earlier this year, Hall was also arrested for a separate incident, this one for assaulting a Rochester police officer and leaving them out of work for months. This happened in early January when officers were called to a home on East Main for family trouble and a man trying to break in. That's where police say they found Hall and a broken screen on a window. RPD tells us Hall was ordered to leave multiple times but refused and argued with officers. When he finally started to walk away, police say Hall shoved an officer in the chest, knocking him down. That's when Hall was taken into custody. One officer was hospitalized with a broken bone. For that case, he faces numerous charges, including assault, resisting arrest, and harassment. Now, as for today's grand larceny sentencing, Hall has also been ordered to pay restitution in the amount of $33,500. That sentencing set to be this morning at 9:30. For now, reporting, Ron Spitzer, News 8.
Ron, thank you. We'll also be following another case in court today. It's a jury trial for a parolee accused of nearly shooting a man to death 3 years ago. Back in December 2022, a man from the city in his 30s was shot and left in critical condition on Hudson Avenue near Kosciuszko Street. The victim did have life-saving surgery. Investigators identified 29-year-old Shai Bertan Anderson as the suspect responsible for the shooting. He's charged with attempted murder and criminal possession of a weapon. He was out on parole for a conviction going back to 2016 when this happened. He's also due in court at 9:30. A driver is recovering from a serious crash over the weekend in Phelps, and the latest update we have on that victim is critical but stable. Ontario County deputies tell us the 61-year-old was going east on County Road 23 when he suddenly flew off the road and hit a utility pole, and you saw the damage there. Firefighters from multiple departments responded to this around 4 p.m. Sunday to cut the victim out of the wreckage. He was taken to the hospital. The cause of the crash is officially under investigation, but deputies note the snowy road conditions do appear to be a factor. 4 teens are under arrest, charged after crashing a stolen car on Lyle Avenue and Whitney Street Sunday afternoon. RPD tells us the teens were driving erratically, crashed into another car when they tried to pass it and lost control, hitting several parked cars at a dealership. 2 of the teens were found inside the stolen Hyundai. 2 others ran from the accident, but they were later found at a home on Sherman Street and taken to the hospital with minor injuries. All 4 young suspects charged with unauthorized use of a vehicle. 1 teen was released on an appearance ticket. America is on the verge of an international trade war after President Trump signed a new order putting a 25% tariff on Canada and Mexico, along with another 10% levy on goods coming from China. The order takes effect just after midnight Tuesday. Canada and Mexico now planning their own tariffs to retaliate.
This steep 25% tariffs on goods has effects for both countries, but it has even more serious effects for the economy of the United States. In fact, measures like these have not existed for 30 years because we have a free trade agreement. The last free trade agreement was signed by President López Obrador and President Trump himself.
Mexico's president and Canada's prime minister both agreed to strengthen relations between those 2 nations amid the tariff increases. To Geneva, the owner of a grocery store there is expressing concern after a drop in business following the new federal immigration enforcement orders. So now she's coming up with new ways to provide essential goods to members of the Hispanic community there. Maria Hernandez came to the U.S. from Mexico with her family in 1995, and since then, she's gotten to know so many others throughout the years around Geneva, especially after she opened Hernandez Mexican Grocery. She says the recent uptick, though, in efforts involving ICE makes her customers nervous to leave their homes and go shopping for everyday needs. So she brainstormed a solution.
You know, I'm like, I have to do something. You know, I mean, I know they want the products. They just don't want to come out and get them. So I started doing a live at that very moment. I'm like, I'm just gonna, if they need the products, I'm gonna tell them to call, and I'll find a way to take those products to them, you know.
Since Maria launched the home delivery, she says it's been a success. She gets multiple orders a day, both at that store in Geneva and another one they have in Sodus, and they plan to continue offering the service for at least the foreseeable future. Later this morning at the airport, TSA and DMV officials are having a press conference to share more details and reminders about that Real ID deadline coming in May. At that point, everyone needs the upgraded license in order to board even domestic flights. Without it, you'll have to have a passport or you won't get on. This will also affect entry to some federal facilities or military bases. We've got more information on the Real IDs at dmv.ny.gov, and we'll have more from what we hear at the airport later on our broadcast on News 8. Before your final forecast, sunrise traffic here. Another look out from the west side in our greater Rock Sky Eye. It's been a smooth drive so far. Let's keep it that way throughout the morning rush hour. Nothing to slow you down at this point. We'll bring you an update on that at about 7:25. For now, headed out the door this morning. We'll be waiting for some more precip.
Yeah, that's right. And comfortable out there compared to the weekend.
Very.
Temperatures climbing. We're getting into the 40s later this afternoon. Briefly, before we get a blast of cold, you see that blue down arrow there for tomorrow. That means likely early morning. We're in the 30s. Most of the day spent in the 20s, down into the teens. Quiet Wednesday, and then we do it over again, Brennan. We keep getting these fronts where it starts off with this rain, snow, switches over to snow showers, and then wash, rinse, repeat, both today, tomorrow, and then Thursday, Friday.
January, very active. February, starting out that way as well.
Right.
We'll see you back here in about 30 minutes with today's news and weather. CBS Mornings on the way at 7.
Follow News 8 wherever you are on RochesterFirst.com, Facebook, X, and on our app for news and weather.